Boom. What is going on, everybody? Happy holidays to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. So today, we're going to be taking a look at one from... You guys have seen me do a review for this brewery before on this kind of same series that they did. I believe is while they came out with this one during like the kind of the COVID-19 lockdowns and all that kind of stuff. They decided to come out with like a 3 beer series called Work From Anywhere. And we're going to be I reviewed their breakfast sour, which had like maple in it, maple syrup and all that kind of stuff that, to be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of. I don't think it really worked in my opinion. Well, today we're going to be taking a look at another version of that series when it comes to, they decided to take their Work From Anywhere breakfast porter and they decided to barrel age it in some bourbon barrels for a year, and that's what we got today, their bourbon barrel aged Work From Anywhere. It's a breakfast porter made with some coffee from Corvus Coffee, and of course it's barrel aged for 12 months. I forgot the name of the... Let me look again to see what barrels it was aged in. It was from Bond Law's straight grain, straight bourbon barrels. So they're 6-year barrels kind of stuff, to where the bourbon was aged in 6 years in those barrels. So they aged this beer for 12 months inside of those barrels. So this comes at a 12.4% ABV. So definitely wouldn't consider this anything sessionable in my opinion. This is to me what I consider like the perfect kind of beer for the holidays, just because it's dark, it's going to be roasty, it's going to be absolutely delicious, and I'm kind of excited for it. So without further ado, let's crack this guy open. And of course, I don't know if my boy Lee's here, but big shout out to my friend, Mr. Not the Real Gerard Butler. I'm going to be opening this, my little cock and balls fucking bottle opener today. So let's crack this guy open. I'm excited. I'm expecting, of course, to be very syrupy, because when it ages in bourbon barrels, it kind of gives that kind of syrupy, thick, heavy gravity kind of thing to it, along with kind of getting those bourbon notes. Of course, I want to taste the coffee. I want to taste the maple syrup that they added in here. I'm expecting all those like deeper, kind of like a little bit sweeter, a little bit kind of more bitter from the coffee, but I'm expecting it to be absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's crack this bottle open and let's see what this thing's like on the smell. Because let's see, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely the maple's definitely coming through. The maple and the coffee coming through, adding that kind of like a sweetness to it on the nose. Definitely smells very, very sweet. So the maple syrup might be a good predominant flavor in this, which in like a stout or a porter, maple syrup is a great thing to add to it. I think where they missed the mark when it comes to the breakfast sour they did, it's just the maple syrup was too predominant and it kind of took over. I didn't really taste any of like the sour fruit notes that I wanted to in that sour, but this one, I think the maple's going to work perfectly with it, just because it kind of blends in a lot better, kind of creates a little bit of chocolatey notes from the coffee. You kind of be getting a little bit of like a dark chocolate kind of thing, and then kind of having those coffee and maple kind of flavors might kind of add like a nice sweet flavor to it. So yeah, it smells absolutely delicious. So of course I'm going to be drinking out of my untapped tulip glass this afternoon. Let's see how this guy pours. Oh yeah, this is a dark one, my friends. Definitely pouring nice and slow. Not really much head to this whatsoever. But I'm expecting this to be very, very heavy and just syrupy, boozy deliciousness. And that's what I'm hoping to get out of this. And look at that. Kind of as black as my soul. And oh yeah, definitely a little bit more of the coffee kind of came out after you let it kind of breathe and after it comes out of the bottle a little bit. So the coffee is definitely more of a predominant flavor now. Definitely getting that slight sweetness when it comes from the maple syrup. But yeah, it smells absolutely fantastic. So without further ado, it's time to give this guy a try. So cheers, everybody. Happy holidays. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, of course, right up front, slaps you in the face with coffee. Absolutely love the coffee flavors to it, to be honest. And it's crazy because I'm not a coffee fan, but I like coffee and beer. I don't know what it is, but definitely getting like that roasted kind of coffee flavor that I really enjoy. Almost brings out some, definitely a little bit of like a caramel toffee kind of situation that I'm getting from those coffee notes. Definitely a nice sweetness that almost kind of that makes it similar to like a chocolate, like a dark chocolate with like the maple syrup in there. But yeah, the flavors are very, very deep. It's definitely very, very syrupy. The booziness is not as predominant as I thought it would be. For being at 12.4%, you can definitely feel the warmth of the ABV going down your throat as you drink it. but you get so much upfront coffee. The kind of sweet balance you get from the maple syrup they add in there is very well kind of washes away the bitterness that the coffee usually brings in, and just kind of makes it a really, really nice, enjoyable experience. I do get a slight bourbon note to it, which is always something I look for when it comes to a bourbon barrel-aged beer, because there's so many steps to after you put it into the barrel that you kind of have to do, depending on what steps they do it in, because you put it in the barrel, you let it age, there's still so many other things you have to do. You have to get it out of the barrel into the tank to get carbonated and all that kind of stuff. So, and plus that'll give you the opportunity to add other stuff in there. Maybe I'm thinking they added the maple syrup in there maybe after they barrel aged it, to kind of add that little bit more upfront sweetness to it, which I think is always a really good idea, kind of adding that once it's sitting in the bright after it carbonates for a little bit, just to get those flavors kind of mingling in there. Of course, they could have done it to where they added it in there before they threw it into the barrels, just to kind of get that more of a bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup kind of situation as well. I'm not sure how they exactly did the process, but overall I think every flavor in this balances out so well. It's just there's no overpowering note when it comes to any kind of flavoring this. It's not too coffee forward. It's not too maple syrupy. You definitely get those like malty kind of roasted notes to it that you really enjoy. The bourbon flavor is not too much. So it's, to me, this is like a perfectly balanced porter, and like a barrel-aged porter, and they did a fantastic job at this. Yeah, that tastes absolutely delicious. So, of course, you guys have heard me talk about Cerebral Brewing before. They're out of Denver, and they do a lot of cool stuff over there. They're pretty much, their main message is Cerebral Brewing is an award-winning craft brewery located in the heart of the Bluebird District in Denver, Colorado. Their goal is to combine scientific methodology with an artistic viewpoint to create extremely drinkable beers spanning across the broad spectrum of styles. So, of course, they like playing around with barrel aging, because if you look on their website, which is down in the description below for you guys, their main website shows a bunch of barrel aged kind of stuff, which I can appreciate. I love when a brewery likes to play around with barrel aging beers, just because it adds that kind of more of a complex flavor to the beer that they're using in there. So, but they have all kinds of different varieties. Of course, if you decided to go over there today, I'm not sure if you can get this work from anywhere over there. I don't think I saw it on their website to where it's available to go or on tap or anything. But if you decide to go over to Cerebral today, they have a food truck that's going to be there from 3 to 8. Of course, I think it's called the Dos Abuelas, so maybe like a taco truck. So if you want to get yourself over, bring the family over there on a nice Christmas Eve, if you don't want to do anything at the house, you can get some tacos over at a Cerebral and have some beers. That'd be a cool situation. They have a lot of different styles available. They have some stouts that are on tap right now, so they have a lot of good stuff that would be perfect for this time of year right now. So let's start figuring out. Actually, before we do that, let's look here on Untapped. Of course, I always talk about when it comes to Untapped, and if you cannot get your hands on this beer, Untapped does use a really good thing to where they list similar beers to this that, who knows, the name of the brewery might be something you recognize. It might be somewhere near you to where you can possibly get your hands on it. So we got one here from the Angry Chair Brewing. It's a 10.5% Imperial Double Coffee Porter called the Barrel Aged Coconut Fion, which hazelnut coffee, I think that might be kind of similar. I don't know if the coconut would kind of add a little bit of a difference to it. But let me look at here. So we have two of them here from SJ Brewing Company, which they're out of, where are they out of? Okay, so they're out of Eula Heights, Florida. And I believe Angry Chair, I for some reason I think Angry Chair is like in the Midwest somewhere. So Angry Chair is out of, okay, they're out of Tampa, Florida. Never mind. So we got a bunch of Florida breweries in this kind of thing right now. So, but this Ton of Bricks Bourbon Coffee Cinnamon Habanero Imperial Double Coffee Porter, which sounds pretty fantastic. To be honest, I love when kind of breweries kind of mix in hot peppers with their beer, because it doesn't add too much of a spice to it. It just adds that extra warmth as you drink it. And then we got their other Ton of Bricks that they suggested, which is their Ton of Bricks Bourbon Coffee, which I think, to me, is most likely going to be the most similar kind of experience with this Ton of Bricks, because you're not going to get the peppery kind of note, but you're going to get that heavy bourbon flavor. You're going to get the coffee note. The only thing that you might be lacking is that maple syrup kind of sweetness in there. And then we got another one here from Cellar Maker Brewing Company with their Imperial Coffee and Cigarettes blend number 9, which is a 10.5, and it's a smoked coffee porter, which is very, very interesting. They definitely like to use They specifically went with German beechwood smoked malt, which is, I don't think I've ever used that kind of malt before, so I'm wondering if that kind of adds a little bit of a different flavor to it. But so that's definitely gonna be more smoky. Definitely gonna bring in more of those kind of help out with those bourbon flavors. And then you got one here from Urban Family Brewing, which is out of, okay, they're out of Seattle, Washington. So Urban Family has one called the Real Quiet Coffee Vanilla variant, which is, looks like it's a Imperial double coffee porter with vanilla. So to be honest, I think this Real Quiet Coffee Vanilla variant is probably going to be the most similar, because when it comes to the extra added sweetness, of course the vanilla is going to kind of bring in those similar notes as the maple syrup would add to this one. So you're going to have those bright coffee flavors. You're going to get the bourbon kind of flavor with that nice kind of booziness to it. But then with that one, adding the vanilla to kind of mimic almost how with these guys they added the maple syrup, I think is going to be a pretty similar experience. So I think that Real Quiet Coffee Vanilla variant is probably going to be the most similar one on this similar beers list to this beer specifically. So had to run her. Oh yeah, have a good one, Kentucky. No worries, man. I know it's the holidays, family stuff's going on, but hey, I'm still doing reviews and making sure people can drink some beers in the holiday spirit. So let's look and see what Untappd says for the description of this guy. So, of course, it's kind of what I already mentioned before. Bourbon barrel aged breakfast porter brewed with Vermont maple syrup, Corvus-Dead Reckoning coffee, and milk sugar. So the milk sugar kind of gives it a little bit of creaminess. Of course, kind of adds like a slight kind of sweetness to it as well, but most of the sweetness you're getting out of this one is definitely going to be coming from that Vermont maple syrup that they add in there. And like I said already, it's aged 12 months and 6-year bottled in Bond Law straight grain, straight bourbon barrels. So 12 months of aging in this stuff, I think, is always a great time. Having that like almost year in the barrels, I think, adds such great depth when it comes to adding that booziness, adding that bourbon flavor to it, is always a really, really great touch to it. So looking here, like I said before, it's a 12.4% ABV, and with over 678 ratings on this guy, this one has an average rating of 4.28 out of 5, which is pretty phenomenal, I would say. And I know when I purchased this back, I think I purchased this more like towards the mid-end of the year. I bought 2 sets of this, so my dad had his own set, so we brought this bottle up to when we went on vacation in northern Wisconsin to share with the family and all that stuff. So when I look at my friends list, of course, it's pretty much all my family that's checked this one in. So you got my uncle checked it in, my cousin, who gave it a 4 out of 5, and then my dad, who gave it a 4.25 out of 5, which I'm surprised I didn't toast their check-ins when they did. So getting some late toasts in on those ones. But let's look here at the global ratings and see what people have to say. So let's see. This person gave it a 4.5. Let's see. We got a 4.25. Another 4.25 saying tons of maple but not a lot of barrel. I think I kind of agree with there. There's definitely the maple's still there. The maple's definitely predominant. The coffee flavor is still there, but you kind of get those back notes of the booziness from the maple and all that stuff. It's not going to be that upfront kind of heavy bourbony kind of flavor. So let's see. This person checked it in, didn't give it a rating, but it says barrel aged porter with heavy coffee and maple syrup. Yeah, pretty much what describes this thing perfectly. Let's see. This person gave it a 4.75. This person gave it a 4 out of 5, saying all maple, which I don't agree with that. I definitely get that coffee coming in there a lot. But let's see. Another 4.25. Another 4.25. A lot of these are purchased off Tavour, which is how I got mine. And then you have a 3.5 here. And then this person gave it a 3.75, saying, God damn, that's a lot of maple. So apparently people are getting a lot of maple syrup out of this one. I'm not getting as much as some people do, but... And then the last one we're going to read off here is this person gave it almost a 4.5, saying boozy pancakes. Which I think that would be an absolutely delicious. I don't really get a pancakey kind of flavor in this, but having that maple syrup in there, mixing it with the coffee, like balancing out the bitterness with the sweetness, and then kind of adding in that kind of bourbon barrel aged where it's like you taste the bourbon notes along with just having that like added booziness to it. I think it just makes this beer perfectly balanced. It's kind of an overall well-rounded Imperial porter, and Cerebral did a fantastic job with this one. If this is what my first experience is with these guys and their barrel aging, I'm in for quite a treat if I try to find some more of their stuff. So let's start figuring out what we're going to be doing for ratings on this guy on our end. And let's look at the bottle art. Of course, Yeah, when it comes to the bottle art, this one, they all kind of kept that same theme when it comes from the work from anywhere kind of thing. To where it's like you have the work from anywhere in there, you have the waffles kind of hanging there, the maple syrup, all that kind of stuff. I love how they did the different like shades of brown, all that kind of stuff, showing like the 12 months aged. It's a bourbon barrel aged kind of situation. But overall, when it comes to having like a high ABV porter or a stout in a bottle, I like looking for classy, to be honest. I like clean, classy, and just because you know they're not going to be taking up the whole entire space of the bottle. So seeing something like this, yeah, I think is really nice to show as a presentation for something that's more of a higher quality, kind of only for like a knit community of people when it comes to, you either like bourbon barrel aged or any kind of barrel aged beer, or you don't. So having this, seeing this kind of presentation, if I saw it at a liquor store or a bottle shop, yeah, it would definitely be something that would catch my attention, just because you see the breakfast kind of stuff on there, and of course they're kind of smashing in your face that it was bourbon barrel aged, so that's really cool. So yeah, I give this a solid 4 out of 5 for labeling on the bottle. Really, really like it. And let's see, if I got this beer in a flight over at Cerebral Brewing, would I get another one? Abso-freaking-lutely. I absolutely love this one. To be honest, it's one of the best like Imperial porters that I've had. I haven't really had many Imperial porters where it's like a higher ABV, just because the difference between a porter and the stout, there really isn't a difference. It just depends on what you decide to call it. So when it comes to this being an Imperial porter, having a lot of stout reminiscence kind of things, just because the stout and the porter are pretty much the same exact thing, and just having all those flavors being perfectly balanced, yeah, overall I would get another one, a glass of this by itself if I had it in a flight, and I'd try to see if I can bring home a bottle to see if I could cellar this thing a little bit longer than I did. But having that kind of, those flavors kind of intertwine a little bit more after you put it in the cellar, I think this beer can only get better with age. So I think for my final rating for this guy, I'm going to give this one a very, very solid 9 out of 10, to be honest. It's fantastic. Like I said, every flavor in here balances out so well. It's not too... There's no overpowering flavor when it comes to anything in this. When it comes to the predominant flavors in this, everything mingles with each other perfectly. There's no just too much of anything. So when it comes to balance and just absolutely delicious beers, this guy, Cerebral, knocked it out of the damn park with this. So yeah, solid, very, very solid 9 out of 10 for me on these guys. I think, other than that, I think that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. And if you're new to the channel and like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with that notification bell. It'll let you know whenever I go live doing another review. And I've got some more reviews planned for this weekend for you guys. Of course, and I'm going to have a Christmas Day kind of one planned for you guys, so keep an eye out for that for tomorrow. It's going to be at 3 p.m. instead of 4. And other than that, if you want to see stuff possibly show up from Cerebral, and if you like kind of getting your beer delivered to you, I always recommend getting yourself on Tavor. It's a great platform. And I know they're starting to widen their horizons when it comes to states they ship to, so they have over 7,000 different beers available when it comes to what they show, and they make sure, depending on your location, they make sure that you get stuff that you normally can't get near you. So kind of opening up your eyes to breweries around the country is just a really, really cool thing. And every once in a while, they'll actually throw in a brewery that's not from this country as well. I think I have one downstairs that's actually brewed in Brazil or something like that. So I'm really excited to eventually get down there and drink that one. And if you're looking for a social media aspect of beer drinking that you guys hear me rave about all the damn time, always going to recommend getting yourself on Untappd. It's pretty much the best social media platform for beer drinkers, where you get to check in beers, get badges, and to see what's popular in your area, see what's the top rated kind of beers within Untappd in general, what's popular around the country. They kind of do stuff like that, and it's overall a very, very fantastic platform. It's available on Android or iPhone, or you can even get it if you're on your computer all day and you can use it through the desktop. Just throw it up on your browser. It's easy to use. It's easy to navigate. They get a bunch of promotion codes and stuff, all like different discounts and coupons for different beer services out there. So that's how I got opened my eyes to Tavor, was through Untappd. So I can't recommend Untappd enough for you guys. If you want to shoot me a friend request, link to my profile is down in the description below for you guys. And other than that, that is pretty much it. So I'm going to end this like I always end it. I hope you guys have a fantastic holiday. I know a lot of people are doing stuff with family for the rest of the 2 days, but I'm going to end it like we always end it. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see you all next time, people. Cheers.